Hi everybody! Welcome to Sir Chua's Accounting Lessons PH. And this is our introduction to strategic cost management and management accounting. At the end of the video, you should be able to define management and explain its objectives, define strategic cost management, management accounting, and its objectives, explain the relationships between financial, cost, and management accounting, describe how accounting information helps managers, explain the dynamicity of the role of accountants and management accountants in controlling performance evaluation and decision-making as financial managers, alongside other financial management responsibilities. Explain the organizational structure and the role of accounting in it. Differentiate the functions of a controller and a treasurer. Determine the nature, objectives, and essential characteristics of a management accounting system and the qualities of an accounting system. Describe the different sources of accounting information and elements of a good internal control. And lastly, explain how to set up a management information and control system. This is your management accounting trainer, Kevin Troy M. Chua. Please like, share, and subscribe to Sir Chua's Accounting Lessons PH and hit the notification bell button. Comment down your questions, suggestions, and reactions. Thank you very much for trusting Sir Chua's Accounting Lessons PH as your online learning partner. Maraming salamat po sa lahat, and special mention po sa lahat ng students ng Polytechnic University of the Philippines, ang aking pong school this semester where I'm teaching. And our featured subscriber for this video is Miss Trixie Ann Gabriana from the Polytechnic University of the Philippines, Manila. So if you want to be featured as a subscriber in our next videos, you can send me a photo of you using Sir Chua's Accounting Lessons page. So Trixie Ann, thank you very much for your support for Sir Chua's Accounting Lessons PH. Maraming salamat po. Okay, I think we're ready to start. Okay, so what is management? Now, for those of you who graduated from the ABM strand, I think this is a not new to you already, but for those who did not graduate from the ABM strand, I think this is for you, so you listen carefully. Okay, so let's first discuss what management is. Management is the process of leading and controlling a group of people, resources, or an organization in totality to achieve the goals and objectives of the entity in pursuit of success and value creation. Okay, let me show you a laser pointer for this. Okay, so ang pinag-uusapan natin in management is that you are leading and you are controlling either a group of people, or you're planning and organizing resources, or the organization in its totality. And the purpose of that leading and controlling a group of people or resources is that you want to do that because you want to achieve the goals and objectives of the entity. And why do you want to achieve those goals and objectives of the entity? It is for the pursuit of success and value creation. Okay, so you want success for the company, you want to create wealth, you want to create value for the entity. Okay, so that will only be met if you achieve the goals and objectives of the entity. And how will you do that? You do management, because management is leading and controlling a group of people or resources so that you can answer, you can hit the target, you can achieve the goals and objectives of the entity. Okay, and then for another definition, management is a process of planning, decision-making, organizing, leading, motivation, and controlling the human resources, financial, physical, and information resources of an organization to reach its goals efficiently and effectively. In this definition of management, you are looking at the totality of the different areas in the entity that would work together in order for all of you to achieve the goals of the entity efficiently and effectively. So basically, management is, yes, it involves planning, it involves decision making, it involves organizing, leading, and controlling not only a group of people, not only resources, but different areas in the entity like human resources, finances, and other information resources. Okay, so the core point of management is that you are leading and controlling specific group of people or resources. And then the main goal is you achieve the goals and objectives of the entity. Now, to add on that, you want that to happen because you want wealth, you want success, you want value creation for the entity. That's why you do management. Okay? So let me discuss with you four different management functions. Okay? So again, for those who graduated from the ABM strand, I think this is not new to you because this was taught to you in the subject organization and management. But for those who did not graduate ABM, just listen and I know that you will be understanding it in these simple points. Okay. Excuse me. So first we have is planning, and then we also have a management function called organizing, and then we have leading, and we also have controlling. Okay, so let's discuss them one by one. Okay, planning is determining proper courses of action and strategizing tactics to enforce in order to achieve the goals set. You have different goals and objectives in mind. So planning is determining what to do. What shall we do? What shall we plan to do? So in the planning stage or in the planning function of management, you determine what shall we do in order for us to achieve the goals and objectives that we have set. And that's the time that you will be strategizing things on how to hit those targets that you have set. Okay? Now, another management function is organizing, which is coordinating activities and resources and delegation of responsibilities. Organizing in a sense that you already have a plan in mind. So what happens is that it's the time for you to coordinate activities, you delegate responsibilities, you allocate resources, you say to people what to do. You're now organizing things so that it will be smooth flowing when you're really starting the operation. Okay? Now, for leading is as the operations go and go and go, you're now managing people, you are now guiding people, you are motivating people, and you are directing them in order for the entity to achieve its goals and objectives. Okay? So that's leading, no? You're managing people, you're guiding them so that you can hit those targets. Okay? And then lastly, controlling. Controlling happens in the end in a sense that you already have results. Now, the thing here in controlling is that dito po papasok yung tinatawag natin na performance evaluation, because you already have the targets and then you compare it with your actual results. So what happened? Was it favorable for the entity? Was it unfavorable? So basically in controlling, lalabas po doon if you have already achieved it really or not. Okay? And basically it comes like a cycle, no? If kung lumabas sa performance evaluation that you did not hit the target, then you plan again so that you will know the next courses of action that you will take. Okay? So these are the four management functions that you need to understand in our discussion of management, accounting, and strategic cost management. Okay, so let's have first a self-check of the things that you've learned in the first two slides. Assignment of duties, delegation of authority, and creation of responsibility best refer to what management function? A. Planning. B. Organizing. C. Leading. D. Controlling. Pause the video if you need more time to think and play it again when you're ready. Okay, assuming that you already have your answer, the correct answer is letter B, organizing. Again, that's where you have already a plan in your mind, so you're ready to assign duties to people. That's where you delegate your authority to the managers, and then you create the responsibilities that are expected of them. You allocate resources. You are already organizing things so that you will have a smooth start in your operations. Okay, so that's the organizing function of management. And let's continue with our discussion. Managerial information needs. Now, as what I've told you earlier, controlling is the function of management that deals with the determination and evaluation whether the goals and objectives are being achieved. So, controlling actually, as what I've told you earlier, is about performance evaluation. Were we able to hit the targets that we have set? Okay? Now, controlling involves performance evaluation as an action to take whether to consider whether actual operations accomplish perfectly the goals that were planned. Planning and controlling are two functions of management that goes well together in order to determine the proper courses of action the management shall do. Because in performance evaluation, that's where you will see, oh, okay, we did nice, so what are the things that we should continue doing? Or if we didn't do nicely, then you plan again, right? So basically, the questions that will arise will be, what's next or what shall we consider next? Now, in answering those questions, papasok na po yung ating tinatawag na decision making, no? Okay, so in those questions, what's next? What shall we consider next? What shall we do to further strengthen this? What shall we do to stop this? Decision making will come in, okay? So, because we are deciding for something, I think maybe the managers need information for that. Do you think the same way as mine? Okay, let's see if our thinking is correct. Decisions and the need for information. In order for managers to be able to choose proper decisions that would add value to the success of the entity, the need for information now becomes highly important. So, tama tayo ng inisip. In order for us or in order for managers to choose proper decisions, they need to be guided with a proper information. Proper information must be accessible to managers so that they will be able to decide on the proper courses of action to take. Because erroneous decisions usually leads to high cost, nasasayang lang, and unsuccessful results. Okay? So, that was inculcated naman na sa inyo, no? Since you were first year, that accounting is a tool for decision making, right? So your contribution as management accountants in the future is really giving the management proper information that it would really help the entity in decision making. So you should put that in your heart as management accounting majors, for those who are in BSMA, and for those who are in BSA who are aspiring management accountants in the future as well, or you want to work in a consultancy firm, or you want to work in a management accounting department, then that's what you need to put in your heart, okay? That accounting is a tool for decision making, and so proper information should be given to the managers and owners of the entity because that will be their basis for decision making, and those decisions will really affect the entity in its totality, and those decisions are actually in line with what they want to achieve for the entity. So everything is affected just because of the information that you need to give them. Okay, so you need to put that in your heart, that as information providers, you should give them the proper and relevant information that will be needed in decision making. Haba, ano? Okay. Okay. Now, let's now use accounting as a tool for decision making. Let's dig deeper on that perspective with that basic accounting definition of accounting that you know. Okay? Let me read that to you again. Accounting is a service activity. Its function is to provide quantitative information, primarily financial in nature, about economic entities that is intended to be useful in making economic decisions and in making reasoned choices among alternative courses of action. The first part of the definition of accounting is talking about providing quantitative information that is financial in nature about economic entities. If you will be looking on that definition of accounting, it relates to the role of an accountant providing quantitative information about businesses, di ba? Now, if you will be looking on the second part of the definition, okay, so that relates naman sa ating paggamit po ng accounting information as a tool for decision making by the owners and managers of the entity. Now, this explanation is on the parlance of management accounting, but actually, in a general accounting perspective, we use accounting as a tool for decision making not only by the owners and managers of the entity, but also for the external users of accounting information. However, because this is a management accounting class, then we will be using accounting as a tool for decision making primarily for owners and managers because we are talking about management accounting here. Okay? But it actually doesn't change anything. Why? Accounting is a service activity which provides information about economic entities. And the endpoint of all of this is from those financial statements, from those financial reports, that will be helpful for the owners and managers to do decision making. No? So I hope that you are now really understanding the core principle of what we're talking about, why we are talking about management, why we are talking about management accounting, and how these proper information will be needed in proper decision making. Okay, so again, as future aspiring management accountants, you should be able to provide proper information to the owners and managers of the entity so that it will be helpful in decision making, because the decisions that will be made by the entity will affect the entity at large. Okay, so you need to be wary of that. Let's now talk about strategic cost management. Strategic cost management is the application of cost management techniques which aims to reduce or regulate costs while strengthening the strategic position of a business. You are now using cost management techniques and different cost information in those techniques so that you can reduce or regulate your cost. However, we are applying it on a strategic management perspective that you need to strengthen the strategic position of a business. Let's simplify the definition. Strategic cost management is the use of cost information as a tool for decision making and business development that would support the strategic placement of an entity. Now, coming from that easier definition, let's talk about the words one by one. Cost information itself comes from cost accounting, right? But if that cost information is now used for decision making, you are using your cost information because you want to lower down your cost, you are analyzing your cost because you want to regulate your cost, then that becomes cost management already, right? However, if that cost management is being applied to support the strategic placement of an entity, what are the strategies that the company has in mind, then that becomes strategic cost management. Okay? So when you are just talking about cost of goods sold, when you're just talking about the cost of direct materials, that is cost accounting. But if you are now analyzing those different costs so that you can think about different ways on how to reduce cost, you can think about how many different ways in order for you to regulate your cost, you're analyzing all of these costs in order for you to have lower costs, that is already cost management. But when you are applying that cost management in the parlance of strategic management, on the parlance of the strategy and the strategic position of the company, that becomes strategic cost management. And that is our subject this semester. Okay? So, ganun po yun. Yun po yung strategic cost management. We are very concerned with the strategic placement of the entity. Now, let's talk about that strategic placement for you to understand it further. Strategic placement and its relation with cost. There is a subject called strategic management that teaches you management perspectives with the application of strategy. Kumbaga, in order for an entity to have a competitive advantage in the market, what are the strategies that they should apply? I'll give you two examples today. Okay, we have what you call cost leadership, and then the other one is product differentiation. Pag sinabing cost leadership, you are managing cost through cost reduction. So your strategy is to lower down your cost. Because if you have lower production cost, excuse me, you can sell your products at a lower price. Or, dahil lang gusto mong ma-achieve, ikaw ang cost leader, you are the lowest price in the market. So your strategy is, okay, I need to lower down my cost so that I will be the lowest price in the market and many will buy from me because mura ang aking paninda. Okay, that is the application of that. Okay, lower cost will lead to lower prices, but you can still expect higher revenues because many will buy from you because you are the lowest price in the market and you are considered the cost leader. Okay? Now, another strategy that a company can use to gain competitive advantage is product differentiation, or you become the unique product in the market. Managing costs through supporting the strategy of an entity to become the provider of unique products in the market. Now, what happens in product differentiation is that your cost will not be so low, no, not so lower, but it's still regulated. But the trade-off on that is medyo tataas yung cost, but your products will be the one unique in the market. Okay? So basically, what you can expect is medyo higher yung prices kasi unique yung product mo eh, no? And you spent higher amount of cost to make it unique. So basically, your prices will be higher, but you can expect higher revenue in a sense that many will buy from you because you're the only one selling that. Okay? You can expect higher revenue because your product is unique. You're the only one who sells that. Okay? Ito yung tinatawag nating strategic position, no? But marami pang tinatawag na competitive advantage strategies, no? But I'm giving you here a quick example because strategic management is another separate subject as you know it, no? So, yun po, no? Ngayon, i-simplify natin yung dinidiscuss natin. In cost leadership, you manage costs accordingly so that cost can be reduced and therefore we can sell our products at lower prices. And then kapag ka product differentiation, dito po pumapasok na it's beneficial for an entity to increase its cost of production if it will support the strategic position of the business. So if you're thinking to be unique, if you're thinking to be product differentiated in the market, it's beneficial for you maybe to increase your cost ng konti rather than ang maging goal mo ay cost reduction, because if that increase in cost will make me unique in the market, then that's fine because that's my strategy. Okay? So now, I hope you are understanding how strategic cost management works, no? So hindi na lang siya basta, okay, we need to lower down our cost because we need to be the lowest price in the market. It's not always like that. If the increase in cost would support your strategy of being product unique or product uniqueness in the market, then if it's beneficial for your strategic position, then you can increase your cost as well. Okay? So hindi na siya laging cost reduction na lang lagi. Although I have to be very honest with you, sino ba namang entity ang gusto ng mataas na cost of production? Hindi po ba? No? So the general rule is that the lower the cost, the better. Yun naman talaga ang general rule doon, no? The lower the cost, the better. That's why we're talking about cost accounting. That's why we're talking about cost management here. But if may iba siya sa strategy, no? If the strategy of the company is to be unique and different, maybe it's beneficial to increase your cost if it would support the strategic position of the company. Okay? So I hope that you understand it from that perspective. Okay. Now, we're talking about strategic cost management. Let's now talk about management accounting. Okay? So, management accounting is actually another branch of accounting. And I think this is the first time that you will be hearing this because for nearly 2 years, you are calculating under GAAP, di ba? No, financial accounting, reporting to the external users of accounting information. So now we are talking about management accounting. It is the use of accounting information to serve as a primary tool for the internal users of accounting information to make decisions that would add value to the betterment of the entity. Basically, management accounting is you use accounting information for decision making inside the company. Kaya nga po siya tinawag na management accounting kasi the accounting information is used by the management primarily for decision making. Okay? For the betterment of the entity. Okay? And basically, management accounting information is used specifically by the owners and managers of the entity. Okay? Now, the 4 major objectives of management accounting are, number 1, providing managers with information that they need so that they can decide and they can plan. Okay? Number two, they assess managers in the directing and controlling of the operations. Directing because you have something in mind that you want to target and you direct them with that. You lead them with that, okay? And then controlling, you also have some things in mind. You have targets, you have benchmarks, and then you compare it with actual operations and you can do variance analysis, okay? Motivating managers toward achieving organization's goals, okay, and measuring performance of managers and subunits within the organization. Okay, so later on in the succeeding discussions that we will be having, we will be highlighting a separate chapter about performance measurement. Okay, so you will be understanding it much deeper at the end of the semester about performance measurement. Step by step yan, no? Makikita natin isa-isa. Okay, so now let's talk about these three areas of accounting, which is financial accounting, cost accounting, and management accounting. And I will be presenting it to you through a Venn diagram. Okay, so for those who already watched my videos in cost accounting and control, I think this is a bit familiar na to you, no? But let's try to discuss them today. Okay, now this first circle represents financial accounting and this second circle represents management accounting, and the overlap between financial accounting and management accounting is cost accounting. Bakit kaya? Okay, ganito po yan. Financial accounting is the area of accounting where we provide the external users of accounting information the information that they need. Okay, so financial accounting, financial statements prepared under the GAAP, we release them to the public, to the external users of accounting information. So, financial accounting information is primarily used by the external users of accounting information. However, management accounting relates more specifically to be used by the internal users of accounting information, the owners and managers of the entity. Now, why are we talking about cost accounting as the overlap between the two? It's because cost accounting information can provide information to financial accounting, and cost accounting can also provide information to management accounting. How does it work? Cost accounting can provide information for financial accounting regarding costs that are inventoriable, cost of goods sold, other costs and expenses, and period costs that will be reported as operating expenses. Kailangan yun ng financial accounting for presentation in the income statement. Diba? However, we also use cost accounting in a management accounting perspective because we provide cost data required for cost management and decision making. So cost accounting also provides those information to management accounting. That is why cost accounting becomes the overlap between financial accounting and management accounting. Okay, so I hope that you understand why cost accounting is being regarded as the overlap between financial accounting and management accounting. Okay. Now, let's try to compare financial and managerial accounting, no? So, in financial accounting, accounting is an information system that identifies records and communicates the economic events of an organization to interested users. Okay, so it's an information system more on recording and then communicating of the economic events to those people outside. External users of accounting information. Okay, yun po yung user, no, external users. However, in managerial accounting, our definition would be a bit different because it is an accounting system by which information are presented to the management, okay? Because they will use that information for them to be able to decide and to operate the business smoothly and efficiently. So basically, the user of managerial accounting information are the managers and owners who plan and control for the organization. Okay. Now, as to time focus, financial accounting is more historical in a sense that we are recording past transactions, right? However, managerial accounting is we are using managerial accounting information to decide what can happen in the future. Okay? Next, for verifiability, we emphasize on verifiability of financial accounting reports because the amounts that we report in the financial statements should be verifiable, right? or not really accurate but verifiable. And then for managerial accounting, we emphasize on relevance of the information that the managers need in order for them to plan, to decide, and to control operations. Now, financial accounting emphasizes on precision while managerial accounting emphasizes on timeliness. And as you know, when an information is not timely anymore, it becomes not relevant anymore as well. Okay? And then in financial accounting, what we are talking about is the totality of the organization, right? Because we report consolidated financial statements, we report financial statements for the whole entity, the total of revenues, the total of expenses, things like that. However, in management accounting, we focus on the segments of the organization. We want to be as detailed as possible so that we can see where the problem roots at. Okay? And then, for the generally accepted accounting principles, we're really bound by accounting standards in financial accounting, right? But in managerial accounting, we don't have to follow GAAP because there are formats needed by the management. Okay, in order for because reports in management accounting are catered for them for their decision making purpose. Okay, so basically that's managerial accounting. They don't need to follow GAAP because it's a highly specialized report that is prepared for the managers for their decision making. Okay, and then, is it required? Yes, financial accounting is required by government and statutory agencies, but it's not required in management accounting because it's only used internally. Okay, so I hope that I was able to give you a sincere differentiation of financial and management accounting. Okay, so let me give you a practical but easy example of how we do financial accounting versus management accounting so that you can understand them deeper. Okay, so it goes like this. In financial accounting, we report the income statement like this. Okay. In 2021, the entity had sales of 500,000 and they got a net income of 120,000, while in 2020, the net income is 170,000. In financial accounting, we end there. We have already presented the information. We will issue the financial statements. That's where financial accounting ends. Okay? Now, for management accounting, ito na po ngayon ang pag-uusapan natin. Why did sales decrease from 2020 going to 2021? You need to answer that. Okay? What factors contributed to the decrease of operating expenses for 2021? Aba, bumaba from 250 to 230. What might be the reason? Okay? Why is 2020 net income higher than 2021 net income? And why is there a decrease in net income for 2021? What cost of goods sold are variable and fixed? What operating expenses are variable and fixed? Are those fixed expenses or fixed costs really fixed? Mga ganon, okay? If our target net income for 2022 is 200,000, how many units shall we produce and sell? And how much will be our budgeted sales and cost of goods sold for 2022 if we will be following a trend? Okay? So, I hope that you are able now to see the difference between financial accounting and management accounting. Here in financial accounting, as long as you have already reported the things that you need to report in the financial statements, then that's it. Okay? However, in management accounting, this is where the question enters because we are putting emphasis into future, no? Into the future of the entity. Like those questions. If our target net income is 200,000, how many shall we produce and sell? If our budgeted net sales and cost of goods sold for 2022 is being asked, shall we follow a trend? Okay? So that's how management accounting works. These are questions that are being asked inside the entity by the owners and managers. Okay? Let me give you another example. In financial accounting, we report the totality of the entity. Total sales for 2021 and the net income for 2021 is 120,000. However, in management accounting, we can do it like this with more flexibility. Ayan. Okay? This is the total for 2021 of your sales, cost of goods sold, gross profit, OPEX, and net income. you can detail it per department, per branch, so that you can see which branch is the best performing branch in terms of income. It's branch A kasi siya yung highest na net income. Which branch gives you the lowest net income? Net loss pa nga. Sales branch C. Now, question of the management. Do you think we shall discontinue our branch C? Ayon. Ganun po ang management accounting. Number one feature that I presented to you is that in financial accounting, we report the totality of the entity. In management accounting, we can be detailed so that we can see where the problem roots. Look at this. Your net income is 120,000, but if you look closely, meron ka palang branch na hindi nagko-contribute, wala siyang ambag. Net loss pa nga siya, di ba? No? So the managers, the owners would think about actions. How can we improve the operations of branch C? And if in the succeeding periods, loss pa rin siya, what shall we do? Shall we stop the operations of branch C? No? So those are the things that you cannot see in financial accounting because it's being reported in totality. But in management accounting, we can go to the root of the problem because we can see it in detail. And that's the flexibility that I am talking about in management accounting. So basically, in management accounting, we can be flexible because we are answering questions. We are deciding for something. We are planning for something. And we are checking and analyzing for something inside the entity. Now, question. Ganito po tayo mag-report ng financial statements in financial accounting. Can we release this kind of income statement for public consumption? Yes or no? The answer is no. Why? These are actually company secrets, right? Diba? No? What the management strategizes and what the management thinks about and what the management plans to do are actually company secrets. Strategies are company secrets, no? So, you don't release that to the public. Okay? So, what will you be reporting in financial accounting? Eh di ito po yung sinabi ng GAAP sa atin. Yung sinabi ng International Financial Reporting Standards. Okay? So, I hope that you understand the difference, the big difference between financial accounting and management accounting. Excuse me. So, as aspiring management accountants, I hope that you were able now to really realize the importance of giving the management proper and relevant information because they're really using it for decision making. 'Di ba? Ayan. Look at that, sales branch C. Ay, net loss siya. So the management will not be thinking, bakit kaya? What shall we do in order for us to improve the operations of branch C? So their decision comes from the information that's given to them by management accountants. So as future management accountants, you should be good at that. Okay? Nakakaintindihan tayo dyan, ayusin nyo. Okay. Now, management accountants should be able to provide both quantitative and qualitative information that will help managers in decision making. Remember, guys, that management accounting is not only limited in pure accounting information. You can use a lot of disciplines in order for you to become a really good management accountant. You can use economics, finance, marketing, research, management science, operations research. Okay? Why is it like that? Financial accounting is inside the box because we are talking about standardized financial reporting through the GAAP. Why? We are following accounting standards. Kaya naka-inside the box lang tayo. Kung ano yung sinabi ng GAAP, yun na yun. Kailangan mo sundin. In management accounting, no. You are thinking outside the box because you are creating reports that are specialized for the management. Specialized reporting for managerial decision making. Okay? So, let's say for example, marketing research. The marketing research tells you, this is just a silly example, but I hope that you can apply it. Let's say, for example, that you are a manufacturer of bags, and then the marketing research team told you that in their survey, there is an 80% expected demand or increase in demand for red bags. So if you follow that, based from marketing yun, that's not based on accounting information. Okay, let's try to sell more red bags next quarter. Okay, so parang what happens is that your decision does not just come from accounting anymore. It's an integration of different disciplines in order for the entity to be successful, right? So, ganun po siya. No? It's not just pure accounting information, although primarily management accounting uses pure accounting information, but you can also use economics, marketing, research, operations research, finance, in order for you to really get outside the box and help the managers in deciding for the entity. Okay, so medyo marami na tayo napag-usapan about management accounting. Let's have a self-check about that. Let me read to you the question. Which of the following statements best describes the differences or similarities between financial accounting and management accounting? Letter A. Financial accounting provides information primarily for internal users, while management accounting provides information primarily for external users. Letter B. Financial accounting provides general purpose reports, while management accounting provides special purpose and specific reports to answer managers' needs of information. Letter C. Financial accounting information can also be used by internal users, and management accounting information can also be used by external users. Letter D. Reports generated by financial and management accounting is intended only for the use of internal users. Pause the video if you need more time to think and play it again when you're ready. Okay, assuming that you already have your answer, the correct answer is letter B. Financial accounting provides general purpose reports, pang-external, while management accounting provides special purpose and specific reports to answer managers' needs of information. Let's go through the other choices. Ba't sila mali? Okay. For letter A, bakit po mali yan? Financial accounting provides information primarily for internal, tapos management accounting primarily for external. Baliktad, di ba? Financial accounting is for external, management accounting is for internal. Okay, next. Letter C. Financial accounting information can also be used by internal users, and management accounting information can also be used by external users. Nako, check nyo mabuti. Yung first sentence, or your first phrase rather, is correct. Financial accounting information can also be used by internal users. Totoo naman yon. Owners and managers can look at their own FS, right? However, management accounting information can also be used by external users? No, no, no. Management accounting is specifically only for owners and managers. Okay? And then letter D, reports generated by financial and management accounting is intended only for the use of internal users. Although management accounting is really just intended for internal users, pero financial accounting is not only for internal. Actually, it's primarily for external. So our correct answer is letter B. Okay. Sige po. So I hope that you understand that, ha? Okay. Let's now talk about organizational structure and financial information. The most common officers involved in an entity's financial information are the CEO, because basically the CEO overlooks everything, and then the CFO, or the Chief Financial Officer, and then your classroom treasurer. Sampu nga. Sampu nga. Hindi pa nga ako nakain ng agahan eh. De, joke lang. Okay. So, it's the treasurer of the entity and the controller of the entity. So basically, these are the officers involved in the entity's financial information. Okay, now actually, under the CFO is the treasurer and the controller. Let's focus on the functions of a treasurer and controller. Ano po bang pinagkaiba ng dalawa, no? In the entity. Okay? But before that, let's look upon this first, the traditional accountant to financial manager. Good financial management contributes to better products and services, higher salaries to employees, and greater returns for investors. Basically, the end point of it is if you have good financial management, it can contribute to greater value for the entity. Good financial management contributes to the success of the entity. And a good financial officer should be good in management functions and using accounting information for decision making, because as you all know, accounting information is being used as a tool for decision making. So now, why are we looking on a perspective that traditional accountants becomes financial managers? Traditional accountants can also transform as a financial manager since they create the accounting information, right? And that accounting information can be used in decision making, and that decisions can contribute to good financial management. And again, if you have good financial management, it could add value to the entity. So our look here is that traditional accountants are not just encoders of data and preparers of FS, no? Because those information that they create is vital for decision making. It's vital for proper financial management. So the traditional accountants transform as financial managers as well. Okay? Now, let's have a quick overview of financial management, although I know that you have a separate subject in financial management, but it's just about planning, organizing, directing, controlling, basically the management functions that is applied in the financial activities such as procurement, utilization of funds of the enterprise. Because basically when we talk about financial management is actually about managing the resources, the financial resources rather of the entity, and how it's being used for operations both long-term and short-term. Ganun po kasi yun no? So that includes forecasting and planning, that also includes capital investment and financing decisions, and basically you coordinate things also within the entity. Okay, so but always remember that good financial management contributes to the success of the company as well. That's our perspective in a sense that traditional accountants are also good financial managers because of the information that they provide. Now, let's differentiate a treasurer versus a controller. When can you say that you are a treasurer, and when can you say that you are a controller? Treasurer's function in totality is about management of cash, marketable securities, planning of capital structure, and raising capital. Basically, a treasurer is about the funds of the entity. No, parang ganon. No, where can we get funds for our operations? Where can we get funds for our big project? Where can we get funds for our long-term investment that we are planning? Parang ganon, no? Unlike in the controller, yan po yung company's accountant, no? They do the accounting function, financial reporting, financial statements, tax, internal control. Okay? So, enumerating the responsibilities of treasurer and controller, it goes like this: provision of capital, and then maintaining relationship with banks and other financial institutions, managing cash and receivables of the entity, kasi we're talking about really money here, di ba? How can they get finances, di ba? Protecting funds and securities, and maintain investor relations. Unlike in controllership function, that is the accounting function of the company. That's why a controller is a CPA by profession, because this is an accounting function. Accounting and bookkeeping, financial reporting, planning and control, internal audit, taxes, statutory and government reporting, and management accounting. So basically, that is pretty much the difference between a treasurer and controller. A treasurer is focusing on funding. Controller focuses on the accounting function. Okay? So I hope that you understand that. Okay, let's try to check your learning on that. Which of the following functions is more expected to a treasurer than a controller? A. Tax planning and administration. B. Cash and receivables management. C. Cash and receivables reporting. D. Statutory and government reporting. Pause the video if you need more time and play it again when you're ready. The correct answer is letter B. cash and receivables management, pang treasurer yan. Baka nalito kayo doon sa isa. Cash and receivables reporting, reporting cash, reporting accounts receivable, FS yun. So that is a controllership function kasi accounting function po yun. Okay? Kasama po ng tax planning and administration and statutory and government reporting. Yun po ay controllership except for cash and receivables management. Okay, let's continue discussing the professional ethics for management accountants. Basically, we all know that the goal of an entity is to really maximize shareholders' wealth, right? We want to maximize things. We want to have higher profits. We want to achieve greater things for our company. However, put it in your mind that even though you have that goal, you should be ethical. Now, there are numerous accounting scandals in the early 2000s that opened the need for the Sarbanes-Oxley Act of 2002 because there are many accounting scandals at that time, like Enron. Okay, so those high-profile frauds shook investor confidence, paano yung gulat, in the trustworthiness of corporate financial statements and led many to demand an overhaul of decades-old regulatory standards. Okay, we are bound by ethical considerations in our work as a management accountant. Okay, you put this in your mind, because you are future MAs, you are future management accountants. Okay, management accountants are expected to have ethical conduct. Management accountants must maintain integrity and ethical behavior and must make the top management aware of any unethical behavior na naaamoy nila, okay, or done by the people within the organization. And management accountant, or a management accountant rather, shall promote and encourage ethical behavior in all aspects of their business and professional life. Basically, your whole professional life is bound by ethical conduct, no? We are not just looking about improvement of the entity and the information that we give to the entity. You should be ethically bound by all of that. Okay? So let's talk about it one by one. These are the standards of ethical conduct for management accountants. Okay, so we have competence, confidentiality, integrity, and objectivity. When we say competence, it's maintaining your competence that you are still improving yourself, you are a good management accountant, you are very technical, you perform professional duties in accordance with laws and regulations, you prepare complete and clear reports that can be used in decision making. Okay, competence in a sense that you have really the skills to be a good management accountant. Okay, confidentiality in a sense that confidential information shall not be released outside, and then you are also telling your subordinates that these information is subject to confidentiality and you are not using confidential information for your personal advantage. Integrity is you are doing the right thing as a management accountant. You avoid conflicts of interest, you are refraining from any activities that can affect the carrying out of your duties, you refuse any gift that would maybe affect your judgment, okay? Refraining from undermining the organization's objectives or the attainment of the organization's objectives, communicate potential professional constraints that can affect the totality of the entity, and so on and so forth. Okay, so basically integrity is doing the right thing as a management accountant. Objectivity is freedom from bias. Okay? Neutrality, parang ganun. Communicate information fairly and fully disclose all relevant information, pangit man o maganda. No? Actually, minsan nga mas okay na masabi yung mga bad points, di ba? Because bad points can help in the improvement of the entity. So, both good and bad points, a management accountant should be very objective on them. Okay. Now, let's try the knowledge that you gain from that section in this self-check number 4. Oh, ganda naman ito. Okay. Dahil a management accountant refuse a gift or memento in the course of her work to avoid potential conflicts of interest. Dayon also ensures that she is up to date on current trends in the industry and on new emerging management practices. Dayon upheld which of the following standards for ethical conduct? A. Competence and confidentiality. B. Confidentiality and integrity. C. Integrity and competence. Or D. Integrity and objectivity. Pause the video if you need more time to think and play it again when you're ready. The correct answer is letter C, integrity and competence. Paano po naging integrity? Hindi po siya nag-accept ng gift that would affect her work as a management accountant, and ina-avoid niya nga yung ganung pangyayari to avoid potential conflicts of interest. So that's integrity. And then, Dahyun also ensures that she is up to date with current trends in the industry, ano ba yung mga pagbabago. She makes herself updated to become a good management accountant. So that is competence. So Dahyun upheld these two, integrity and competence. Yung mga twice dyan ha, nakangiti na naman kayo. Okay. So let's continue with, okay, so this last part of our discussion will be more related to the usage of management information systems, accounting information systems, and how it affects the entity in general, and how it affects in the delivery of information to our owners and managers. Management Information System is a system that provides past, present, and projective information that is timely and relevant to be able to use it for decision making. O, doon na naman tayo na uwi, di ba? Yun nga lang, parang naging high-tech siya kasi naging information system. Pero ganun pa rin. It accumulates past, present, and potential projected information that can be used in decision making. Ganun din, di ba? It's a system that captures data from operations within the firm and organizes them into information relevant to managerial decision making. It also provides a way for managers to generate information they needed. And actually, because it becomes high-tech, it's much easier to extract information, right? Okay, so it becomes a quick way to get the information that we need. Okay, the design of a management accounting system should fit within the operations of the entity and conform with the characteristics of the firm, as based on their legal nature, their organizational structure, organizational culture, and specific processes inside the entity. Basically, a management accounting information system should be aligned with how the company works inside. Ganun lang kasimple yung huling sentence na yun. No? It should be aligned with what's happening inside the entity. Legal nature, organizational structure, organizational culture, and specific processes. Okay, so these are the elements of a management accounting system. We have motivational, informational, and reporting elements. Motivational elements include performance measures or any rewards that you need to give, support for the mission of the organization, and competitive strategy. And then we also have the following informational elements like budgeting, cost control, value-added activities and non-value-added activities, core competencies, analysis of make or outsource, and other decisions. So basically, these elements provides information. Kaya siya tinawag na informational elements. And then, we also have the following reporting elements. Pag sinabi naman pong reporting elements, you use the accounting system in order for you to prepare financial statements and other reports para sa financial accounting. So basically, based on GAAP. And then you also use the management accounting system to generate management accounting specific reports. Okay? So those are the three elements of a management accounting system. Now, let's talk about a cost management system. Cost management system basically refers more to cost management. Okay? It includes a set of formal methods developed for planning and controlling an organization's cost-generating activities relative to its goals and objectives. So we are relating cost management to the goals and objectives of the entity and paano mapapababa or mare-regulate ang cost. So ganun din ang function. Kung mapapansin nyo, what we are talking about is just the same. It's just that it's being applied on a high-tech perspective kasi bigla siyang naging accounting system. Okay? So, it includes or it helps managers identify the cost of resources consumed in performing activities, determine the efficiency and effectiveness of the activities, identify and evaluate new activities that can improve future performance, and then from those three, adapt the firm to changes in new technologies. Basically, what we're talking about is just the same. It's just that it's being applied on a technological perspective. Okay? But it's just the same. Characteristics and qualities of sorry, of information. Okay, we are talking about information to be provided to managers so that they can use it in proper decision making. But those information, what should they be? Number one, it should be accurate and verifiable. But actually, in accounting, there is not 100% accuracy, so it should be reasonable, no? And verifiability in a sense that when someone rechecks the calculations or someone will have a walkthrough again of the things that you computed, they will get the same amount because it's verifiable by another accountant. Okay? It should also be complete because it might be accurate, it might be verifiable, but if it's incomplete, it will not help the manager to do a nice decision. So dapat all of the information needed by the manager to do decision making should be complete. Okay? And it should also be relevant in the decision, excuse me, that you are making, no? Let's say for example, you are trying to reduce your operations, but your fixed cost will not change. So at that point, your fixed cost becomes irrelevant because whether or not you increase or decrease your operations, your fixed cost will just be the same. So is that still relevant? Okay, so but I'm not telling you here that fixed costs are not relevant, ha. It's just that there are items that are relevant for a specific decision and there are items irrelevant for a specific decision. Okay? So a management accountant should ensure the relevance of the information given to managers. And lastly, timeliness. Kung paso na siya ng time, hindi na siya magiging relevant din eh. If it's not timely, it's not relevant as well. Okay? So it's very important that we also look on the information timeliness for it to contribute to proper decision making. Okay. Now, let's talk about AISs, no? Accounting systems, accounting information systems. Now, basically, a system includes inputs, and then those inputs will be processed, and then after those processes, we'll have an output. And from that output, there is a feedback. That's a major component of any system, whatever system it may be. Okay? Kahit sa science pa naman system, lagi naman din may input, process, output eh, no? But it's in their field na, no? So, wag na nating puntahan. Okay. An accounting information system serves as an efficient way of providing accurate financial information that could help in decision making. Maulit-ulit na tayo na ganyan, di ba? No? And help the firm achieve its goals and objectives on operating results, setting of priorities, and problem solving. So basically, as you can see, it gives them the platform to have information that will be helpful in decision making. And what platform is that? That platform that I'm talking about is the accounting information system. Now, the AIS can be used for number one, routine management reporting for current operations and decisions. So you use it for management accounting purposes for current operations. Okay? The AIS can also be used for special decisions, lalo na po dun sa mga long-term decisions. Should we buy a new factory? Should we buy a new land? Yung mga capital budgeting decisions natin. Pwede rin gamitin dyan. And syempre, you use your accounting information system for routine financial reporting. Yung ating pong mga FS, yung ating mga journalizing, posting, trial balance. Dyan po papasok yun. Okay? And then AIS components, forms like invoices, official receipts, equipment, the equipment that you use, the computers that you use for that specific AIS, and POS systems, basically any equipment that you use that would transmit information going to the AIS and coming out of the AIS as well. Okay? And then procedures inside that transforms the input going to output. And then syempre, uh, whatever sophistication you have in your system, if it doesn't have peopleware, hindi siya aandar. Walang-wala tayo, di ba? Okay. Now, an accounting system should be flexible, reliable, simple, helpful to the entity and users, economical, and has control mechanisms and accuracy, honesty, and speed. I want to highlight this economical because lagi tayo magka-cost-benefit analysis ha. Baka yung pag-maintain natin ng ating accounting information system ay mas mahal na sa benefit na nakukuha natin with the use of AIS. So always remember that as good management accountant, you should be also look into the perspective of cost-benefit analysis. Okay? Now, the transactions in a typical firm that is being applied in AIS includes number one, order entry system. Pag sinabing order entry system, dyan po natin ina-accommodate lahat ng customer orders. And dyan din po tayo nagpapadala ng mga billing statements sa kanila. Okay? Cash receipt system, basically from the word itself, no? Dito po nangyayari at yung collection natin, yung ating recording ng ating pong mga cash receipts. And then for purchases system, this manages all of the purchases that the company makes. And then production planning and control system, this is highly applicable in manufacturing operations because you need to plan the production process from your raw materials and then the process that it goes through until it becomes finished goods inventory. Okay? And then cash disbursement system, lahat po ng payment natin ng cash. Personal system like human resource and payroll. And then, syempre, any other transactions that is related to accounting, pasok po natin sa general accounting system. To give you an overview of AIS, actually, AIS is a different subject as well. And I think you already had this, or if not, di ba? Ano siya eh, it's a separate subject, no? But just to give you an overview, how do it works talaga and how does it contribute to you as a management accountant in generation of information. Now, for inputs, nagkakaroon po ng entering ng customer name, address, yung order niya, kung ilan, basically those stuffs, no? After you have input those information, what happens is the processing, okay? The invoices are being prepared, the invoices are approved, you send the billing statements to the customers, there is a event inside the computer that computes for the sales, computes for the accounts receivable. So that's the process. Iluluwa niya ngayon sa'yo ng system yung mismong output na ine-expect mo. Sales report, accounts receivable report, sales trend analysis, and other relevant reports and statements that can be used both by financial accounting and management accounting. Okay, so that's basically pretty much what AIS is. It's just that being discussed with you because AIS is not just only about, kasi minsan ang iniisip ng iba, pag accounting system, ay ano yan, automatic na debit credit para may FS na tayo agad. Oo, ganun. Pero you use also accounting information system and you can also maximize it to be able to provide management accounting information that can be used in decision making. Okay, so lalawakan natin yung perspective natin ng AIS. It's not just about automatic processing of transactions in accounting. It's not limited to that. AIS can be beneficial as well if you maximize it. It can be beneficial in management accounting as well. Okay. And lastly, let's discuss the different elements of a good internal control. So, we're talking about systems here, we're talking about processes here. Paano ba tayo hindi malulusutan, no, ng mga nagtatangka, ng mga hindi magagandang bagay about the entity? Okay, so you should hire reliable personnel and you should separate duties. Do not give custody and recording on one person. Kung siya may hawak ng pera, wag mo siyang pag-recordin. Mawawala yun. Okay? Unless the employee is honest. But, excuse me, you need to be very wary on that. Don't give the recording and custody function on one person only. Supervision, there is an overseer, and then there is a proper delegation of responsibility, there is a control on documents, and then, wag laging yun ang trabaho. I-rotate natin Tapos, nagkakaroon din ng forced leaves, no? Para habang naka-leave siya, chine-check mo yung gawa niya. Parang gano'n, no? And then, periodic review of the system by the internal and external auditors para makita natin if the controls that we are thinking about, or the controls that we have placed, rather, thinking about, the controls that you have placed are really working effectively, right? Okay. And then, physical safeguards like door locks, Kensington locks on your laptops, mga ganon. Okay? Routine and spot checks. Routine check, mga scheduled na checks yan. Spot checks, surprise, we will be checking you, ganon. And then, cost feasibility. Yan po yung sinasabi ko sa inyo that the benefit should outweigh the cost of maintaining your accounting system and internal control. Let's have a final question before the end of our session for today. Management accountants play a role in the planning and control functions. An action that would be involved in the control function is A. Identifying alternatives for furthering the organization's objectives. B. Preparing a variance analysis report. C. Preparing a 5-year budget. D. Participating in the formulation of the organization's mission. Pause the video if you need more time and play it again when you're ready. Okay, the correct answer is letter B, preparing a variance analysis report. Remember that the control function includes performance evaluation. And in variance analysis, we are already checking the targets versus the actual operation. And dyan natin makikita sa variances kung favorable or unfavorable, right? So, nagkakaroon na tayo ng performance evaluation. That's why a preparation of a variance analysis report is a control function of the entity. I hope that you were able to understand so much from me this session, and I hope that I was able to properly institutionalize and deepen your understanding of what management accounting and what strategic cost management really is. And I hope that in the next session, it will be more clearer to you. Our next lesson is about our review of different cost concepts, classifications, and cost behavior, and how we will be applying these concepts, classifications, and cost behavior in decision making and in strategic cost management. Again, please like, share, and subscribe to Sir Chua's Accounting Lessons PH and hit the notification bell button and comment down your questions, suggestions, and reactions for this video. This has been Sir Chua's Accounting Lessons PH, and to God be all the glory, honor, and praise. Thank you and have a great day. Sarangeo.